Conor Gallagher is linked with Tottenham Hotspur. Now, do I think this will happen? No. Straight away though, do I think this is a great sign-in for Tottenham Hotspur? Yes. Homegrown, has Premier League experience. It weakens Chelsea. He's one of their best players. He's their vice-captain. Reece James is out, so he's been playing captain actually quite a lot. He's played 95% of Premier League games this season. And yeah, definitely behind Cole Palmer, their best player this season. And I think most Spurs fans feel, and probably Chelsea fans, that he suits Ange's system perfectly. He's everywhere. He is the definition of a pressing player. He does not stop running. Okay, let's go into his career a little bit. He's had a good career so far, the 23-year-old. Most teams he's been in, he's been one of the standout players, or the standout player. When he went to West Brom in 2020, they got relegated that season, but he was their best player. I've just realised I usually have lights on there, so now my room just looks super dark. But yeah, he was their best player at 20 years old. He then went to Crystal Palace in 2021, the year after, and in my opinion, he was excellent. He was for me their best player in a team full of very big talents. You know, we're talking Eze, Michael Olise, Wilfred Zaha, Joachim Andersen, Mark Gay, and Conor Gallagher outshone all of these players that year. He scored 8 goals as well for Crystal Palace that season. Some of the goals he scored as well were outrageous. I remember there was 2. The one was against Everton at home, I think, and the other was sensational. Watford away, ball from Tyreek Mitchell, and he just touches it perfectly and smashes it top corner. Amazing goal. Helped Crystal Palace get to the FA Cup semi-final too. The only problem was he couldn't play in the semi-final because he was playing against Chelsea, who was his home club at the time, or still is. Do I think he would start at Spurs? No, I don't. I don't know. No, I don't think he would. We have James Maddison, in the 10. Pape Sarr is a massive talent. Bentancur is our best midfielder, if everyone is available, alongside James Maddison. Skip, he would get in over. I'm trying to think who else we have. Højbjerg is likely to leave, I think. And who else do we even have? Bissouma. They don't even play in the same position, so he would be in competition with Bentancur, Maddison. As it stands, Lo Celso, he will probably leave, I would think, at some point, though. So he would start a lot of games. I don't think he would get initially into that 11, though. But the great thing about this signing as well, not only is it just 40 million, by the way, which is dirt cheap for a player like Gallagher, to think we could get Maddison and Conor Gallagher, Chelsea vice-captain / captain, for £80 million together is unbelievable business. The other great part is, like I was saying, he can come off the bench, he can impact the game because he's just so energetic. He can make a real impact off the bench, I believe. I just think this would be a very good sign-in. But, like I said, I don't think it will happen. Now, I was going to actually do a part talking to a Crystal Palace fan about Conor Gallagher. Couldn't make it happen, which is fine. With a Crystal Palace fan, like I said, his name is Bradley. We actually do have another channel where we do a podcast every single week. Couldn't get him on, he was a bit busy. But going back to the video, interestingly, I found out the other day he doesn't have a goal this season in the Premier League, which, like I said, at Crystal Palace, he was so good in front of goal. He had 8 goals at Crystal Palace that season. He does have 4 assists, but I do think his role is a little bit different to the one he had under Patrick Vieira at Crystal Palace. You can see a little bit more in his heat map just how different he is playing. It's not a mad difference, but you can tell he was in the box a lot more at Crystal Palace. But comparing his time again to the one at Palace, he's averaging 20 more touches per game for Chelsea, so he's having to be a lot He's having to be on the ball a lot more. I think this is a little bit of a problem because he isn't the best passer in the world. And not just controlling a game, but also that final pass that you need. If you look at all of his seasons, the most assists he's actually ever had is this season at Chelsea with 4 assists, which isn't mind-blowingly high. At Palace, he had 3. Last year at Chelsea, he had 1. And at West Brom, he had 1. Yes, I did just have to look at my notes to see that. You know, that's a total of 9 assists in his Premier League career. When you compare that to who's our number 10 at the moment, James Maddison. James Maddison had 9 last year for a relegation side. So you can see there's obviously a big drastic difference between the skill set in passing in both of those players. James Maddison is also on 5 this season, and he's missed half the season. One positive, I shouldn't say this, I really shouldn't. He has never had an injury. Sorry, I said it. But with how much football he's played, it's a good sign. A really impressive stat too is that he has 6.9 ball recoveries this season on average in the Premier League. What are ball recoveries? Well, by Google definition, it is, let me have a look, a situation where neither team has possession or the opposite team pass to him. I'm guessing that's an interception, isn't it? Yeah, stats. As you can tell, I'm not the biggest stats man ever. But he is averaging 6.9, which seems high. It seems a good stat. It isn't surprising considering his stamina either. And just to compare that to our players, Pape Sarr is our player who has the most of them per game, which is 5.1, if that's anything. How do people do the stat stuff? I don't know. I prefer watching football. But like I said, I loved watching him at Crystal Palace, and I've enjoyed watching him at Chelsea as well. And if you've loved watching this video, give it a like, subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.